In this video, we'll explore the LeetCode platform. What are the filters available here? How are those filters useful for us? Because one of the most common questions that I've been getting these days is that we have a lot of questions on LeetCode, but probably if I'm starting to code for the first time or probably preparing for my upcoming interviews, what could be one of the possible strategies that we can use? So let's come to the platform and see what are the filters available. Like for example, if we scroll down, if we see, then here we see that what are the category of questions available on the portal. Like here you see array, string, hash table and whatnot. So there are a bunch of categories available. So if we want to focus on one of the categories, then we can just click on one of the categories, and probably the questions belonging to this category, you can start practicing them and all. Once we come down, we see that what are different type of question available here. Like for example, we have questions related to algorithm. We can practice some queries, database queries. We can practice something related to shell. We can practice concurrency. uh, most of these things are useful for the interviews, but let's see that if we want to start solving algorithmic question, then what could be a possible strategy for that. Like this is the page, and when you come to lead code, you can select the problem section here, at the on the top bar. And when you select that, you come to this page, and then if you select the algorithm question, if you select the question, then you will see that these all questions belong to the algorithm subhead. And then we have a number of filters, like uh, these are some of the already curated list, already pre-populated ones. Like for example, what are the top 100 interview questions, uh, what are the top questions asked in different companies and whatnot. uh, the second filter, if I talk about, then it's about the difficulty. Because so we have three types of question on lead code if I talk about the algorithm part. So easy, medium and hard, uh, categorized based on the level of question. This is the status part, that which question you have solved, which one you have attempted, which question you have not attempted. Again, we come to the next filter, that is the tags. So it is similar to the one provided above that we were seeing, that there are a bunch of topics and we can select a topic and practice the question for that topic specifically. Now, if we are starting to code, then probably selecting a random question is not the best of the strategy. What we can do is that if we see that after every question we have an acceptance percentage, a difficulty level, and the frequency is locked because I don't have a premium right now. So this acceptance rate tells that out of 100 questions, out of, sorry, 100 submissions, how many submissions were passed. So that means a question with a higher acceptance rate is probably relatively an easy question to solve. So what we can do is that after coming to algorithms, let's go to the difficulty part, select the easy questions. So all the easy questions will be filtered and we'll be seeing only the easy questions. You can see that there are only easy questions. Ignore this one, the medium one, because the topmost question basically shows the uh, daily challenge question. So on lead code you have a daily challenge question as well. So that question can be an easy, a medium and a hard question. It's a good way to keep you motivated to at least solve one question per day. So let's ignore it for now. This filter shows the result starting from the second row, and you can see that all the easy questions are shown. Now again, easy questions can also have different acceptance rate, so let's sort this. So if we sort this based on acceptance rate, then you can see that uh, the topmost question, the topmost easy question, has an acceptance rate of 93.6. That means out of 100 solutions, on an average 93.6 solutions were accepted. So you can, what we can do is that for starting, uh, do these things, and we can start with a fixed number of questions that we'll aim to solve every day, right? And the best, the main thing to note here is that we'll not follow any filters. By filters I mean, like for example, let's select a random question. Like for example, okay, let's select this one, number of good pairs. Suppose I select this question. So just a second, it's loading, taking some time. Mm, yeah. Okay, now suppose we come to this question, then you can see that if you read the question, given an array of integers, return the number of good pairs, and this is the definition of a good pair. So with every question, there is a tag as well, like what is the related topic. So if you see here, this question comes under the category of an array. You can use a hash table to solve this question. You can use some mathematical techniques, counting. So what happens is that when you start coding, obviously you have some basic knowledge. Though you don't have too much of practice, but since we are starting, we can select the question based on the criteria that we just saw, and probably read that question and try to solve it ourselves, not go to the filters, because once we go to the filters our mind works in that direction only. Like for example, if I see this, then I know that probably okay, I need to think in the direction of a hash table. But if we see this question, then probably this question can also be solved without hash table. The if I see the limits of this question, it's the number of elements in the array is 100, so probably a nested loop, a big O of n square algorithm will also pass. That means without the hash table also this question can be solved. Now in case you are not able to solve this question, so you can go to the discuss section. There is a tab here. You can go to the discuss section. You can select the filter most votes. Like you can sort the solution based on the most votes, and then just select a solution, right? Just select a solution and see what is the approach that someone is following in this question. So this is one of the good ways of learning how to solve the question. It's just that you don't need to go here and there. This platform is self sufficient to provide you the solution for the questions that you are practicing. Now in the starting, try to pick up a, I would say, a target. Like for example, if you have never done this type of coding, then probably take a conservative number that on a daily basis I'll try to tackle a couple of questions, 2 or 3 questions in 1 hour. So that comes out to be an average of 20 minutes per question. So give your 20 minutes to one question. No need to be in a hurry. Give those 20 minutes. If you are not able to solve that question, just go to discuss section and see what is the approach that people are following. Now again, since a question can be solved using multiple approaches, see a couple of solutions. Like you can see top 4 5 solutions. What this will do is now that you will be able to see that a question can be solved in multiple ways. Like if I go to the first solution, you can see that this guy has used an auxiliary array. So he's taking an extra space, but the time complexity is big O of n. And now if let's select another solution, let's see what could be another approach. Like it says Java hash map big often. So here you see that guy used an auxiliary space. Uh, this user is using a hash map to solve the same question, and again using the frequency thing. So that the first user was using an array. Now the second user is using a hash map. What could be another possibility? Like if I go to the third solution, then probably you see there is a very good description of the solution, so the way that you should think. So these are some of the benefits of going here. And here if you see that again this guy is using hash map. So again there are multiple ways of solving this question, and as I told you, one of the ways is probably using a nested loop, and though the time complexity will be more in that case, but the space will be optimized. So this could be one of the ways that you can start solving the questions. Now again, if I come to the filter, let's come to the filter, just a second. Uh, Seems like we have clicked on too many links for this question. Uh, just a second. Uh, yeah, now we come to the filter. So now this was the home page from where we navigated. So just a second, the results are coming. Yeah, again. So pick, I would say, to start with, pick a couple of questions or 3 questions per day. And if you are stuck on that question, go to the discuss section, try to see what could be the possible solution for that, learn a new concept, to jot it down somewhere, probably prepare notes that okay, this was the question. Just write it on a very high level, because obviously you don't have time, or probably you don't want to write each and everything in detail. Probably you can write that okay, counting sum of pairs, I used an algorithm that probably used a hash map. The time complexity was big O of n, space was big O of n, and probably after practicing, you will be able to recall that what was the solution, what was the approach that you used in that question. So this we can do. So solving, I would say, three questions daily. If I talk about the weekdays, then probably in 5 days we'll be able to target 15 questions. And then if we talk about the weekend, we can stretch it to a couple of more questions, so 15, and then on weekends we can solve 5 questions on each day. So that comes out to be 25 in 1 week. Now, if we are aiming for 25 questions per week, then probably in 1 month, if we follow this, then in 4 weeks we'll be able to solve somewhat about 100 questions. Let's take a conservative value, 90 to 100 questions. Now, once you solve 90 to 100 questions, you are familiar with the syntax, you know how to approach a problem, though easy ones, but still your warm up is done. Now you can move to relatively hard question. So again, we can follow the same approach, that select the difficulty. So for here, just now select the medium ones. Move away from the easy ones. Select the medium ones. Again, sorted based on acceptance criteria. Now do the same thing for medium ones. Now, again, since we have done a lot of practice in 1 month, we should be able to at least think that okay, what could be one of the possible approaches. But still, if we think that we are taking too much of time, so we can reduce the target, like not targeting 3 questions each day, but probably targeting a couple of questions each day. So what that will do in 1 hour, that means, so what that will do is that in 5 days we'll be able to solve 10 questions. That's about the weekdays. And if I talk about the weekends, then the we can increase that. So probably 3 question each day, 3 or 4 questions. So that will be 6 or 8 questions. So that comes out to be 18, 16, 18 questions per week. So again, that's a good number, I would say. And probably practicing more problems will give us the confidence, will also tell us that what are the concepts that are used. So there are just some basic things that you need to know, and probably most of the question you will be at least able to approach. Like for example, you need some info about the how hash map work, how set works, how pair works, how sorting works, how to add a comparator while you are sorting, and a number of things. So most common data structures that are used, and probably most common algorithm that are used. Not talking about the advanced ones, like obviously if you move to tree or graph level questions, that can be taken care, but after some time, once we have done enough practice. Because in the first month, if we solve 90 to 100 questions, the easy ones, and if in the second month we are able to solve, so we did 18 to 20 questions per week, let's take a conservative number, let's take it 15. So in 1 month, we'll be able to solve, I would say, 60 medium level questions. So solving 160 question will give us a lot of confidence, and a lot of concepts that probably we were not familiar with. Now, if your case is that you have already done a lot of coding and it's just that you need some uh, brush up thing, you have not practiced for quite some time and you just need some sort of revision, then you can take some aggressive targets, like not following 3 questions per day, but probably take it 5 questions per day. Like last year when I started, I took a target of 5 questions each day. And so yeah, you can take aggressive target based on the level that you are at. So this could be helpful, and making notes is very important. Like whenever you learn a new concept, probably just jot it down in a very summarized way, go through the notes next day. Whenever you start coding, probably what you can do, you can revise the notes. And those are not notes, but probably on one page you can write the data for 2 or 3 days, because you are writing it in a very very, I would say, summarized way, not writing too much of the details. Because after practicing, you know that okay, I use sorting, now sorting is done in this way, so you're already familiar with that. So this could be one of the approaches that we can follow. And then after that, if you want to focus, so let's do this for 2 3 months. And after that, we have already some free filters here, like top interview questions, and then probably lead code curated algo questions. So mostly we can use these filters. If I go to top interview question, let's see one of the filters. So if you solve, how many questions are there? Like, okay, 98 is here, probably 3 pages. So yeah, if there are, I would say, sort of 150 or 160 or 200 questions here, then after you have practiced for 2 months, you can do it for hard questions as well. You can come to this filter and probably start parallelly solving these questions as well, as these are the most frequently asked questions. Okay, 145 questions are there. Sorry, I missed it. 145 questions are there. So based on this approach, probably we can start our problem solving journey. And no need to, I would say, go with the paid filters in the beginning. Let's first practice, and then probably we can see that whether we need a paid filter or not. Now, the other thing that we can do is that apart from doing all these things, there are some contests as well. Like you can see at the top of the screen, there are weekly contests and there are bi-weekly contests. So, if I talk about the Indian time zone, then probably there is a contest every Sunday starting from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. That means in the morning. That happens every Sunday, known as weekly contest. There is bi-weekly contest as well that happens every second Saturday, and that is in the evening, 8 p.m. IST to 9:30 p.m. IST. So you should generally you should aim for giving that contest religiously, because it's a different environment, I would say, and probably you'll have 1 hour 30 minutes, and you can uh, try to solve as many questions as possible. So there are four questions: one easy, two medium, and one hard question. So while you are practicing, the contest also helps you know that whether how much improvement you are seeing, right? Like for example, in the starting, probably you will be able to solve just an easy question. Moving forward, you will be able to solve probably one medium question, and then as we progress, you will be in a state to solve an easy question and a couple of medium question. We do it for quite some time, then probably we'll be able to solve all the four questions. Now whenever the contest ends, just see what was the solution, what are the possible solutions, like though you have solved one of the questions, but do see that what could be the other possible solution. So whenever a contest ends, that question is added into all the questions are added into these lists. So if I select algorithm, and now if I select it based on the number, the question ID, I'll just show you. So you can see here that probably, yeah, these are the questions, like these probably starting from 2231 to 2234. These four questions came in the last contest. Similar, if we move down, then probably uh, the last four questions came in the contest before that. So all the questions of a contest are added here. So what you can do, you can go to one of the questions again, irrespective of whether or not you have solved it. Now just go here, read the question again, and probably go to the discuss section. Again, it's taking time. Yeah, go to the discuss section. See what are the other solutions. What are the other ways to solve it? Like for example, maybe I don't remember. Yeah, this question can be solved using heap. So see, uh, what what are the other ways? Like if I click here, go to heap. Yeah, you can see that okay, this is one of the possible solutions that we can do, because though you are writing code using heap only, but maybe the approach is little better, probably uh, the variable naming techniques and the other things. Like here, if I talk about this user, then again we have a great explanation here, a detailed explanation. See here, the code is a little bit different. So you can learn something from this code, you can learn something from the code that we saw earlier. So probably doing these things is very important. And the most important thing is that don't see the filters in the beginning. Because if you go with the filters, then you will think in only one direction. Just if you start with the easy questions, you will be in a state that okay, this question needs sorting, I can go with a sorting thing. And as you practice, you know that okay, a sorting technique can also be done. Probably in most of the cases you can use a hash map as well. You can use a specific in specific cases you can use tree map. So that comes through practice. So probably let's follow this for some time. I have told this to a number of my mentees, and yeah, we can see the improvement in the mock interviews that we are having these days. So these things can be seen, and let's see what could be what's the result, and probably what could be some more strategies to move forward after a couple of months and so. Okay, thank you.